Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Justice Lord Batman. Justice Lord. They actually put it on the front this time, which is pretty cool. Maybe a little bit too late for changes, but pretty cool. Maybe this isn't that new of a release or whatever, but it's got the older logo on it, so that's interesting. But it is a gold label that I found on my own in person at a store that I wasn't looking for toys specifically, and I happened to cross this. So hey, first one's, that's pretty cool. And this is actually a pretty cool figure. It's a pretty unique looking Batman. It's relatively accurate to some source material, and they did a decent enough job with it. So hey, this might be a cool one for you. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. Before we look at the figure, I do want to show you my package. It's the standard McFarlane packaging, which is very nice, and the gold label does look good on there. I don't really like how they have the gold, the platinum, the red, the silver, the Christmas colors, whatever colors they have. I don't like all the different options. Just release some figures, but this is a gold one that you probably, I guess it's Target exclusive. That's where I found it. So good luck finding that. But yeah, good packaging. There's the artwork on the back that's made to match the figure for the most part, but not really, but kind of, and it's cool enough artwork, I guess, but it looks better than the figure, so that's a bit of a bummer. But otherwise, good packaging as usual for McFarlane Toys. And here is the figure. He is a dark one. Should we? Maybe we'll do it like that. It's gonna be too bright, but I guess it's okay. Whatever. Okay, sometimes these dark figures that are just bare PVC, they don't react well to lighting, so we're going to do the best we can. He's about 18 centimeters to the top of his head, not counting his ear tips, and that's going to make him just about 7 1/8 inches, give or take. Here he is up against Darwin. You can see totally different scales. Okay, so this guy does reuse some parts, I believe, and I know there are some new parts. That head looks like an Arkham head. Did they use an Arkham head for this? That's what it looks like to me. It could just be a similar sculpt, but I think that's what it is. And I say Arkham from like the video games. That is what that looks like. I'm almost positive. But it does have some new parts, obviously, and some old stuff, but it's pretty cool looking. If you wanted a tanky looking Batman figure, this is the one. He's pretty, get that out of the way. He's pretty thick, he's pretty chunky, he's pretty well proportioned, honestly. His head's a little bit small, kind of, but for comic-y characters, that's fine. I say comic-y because this isn't exactly a comic design, but it looks pretty good. I think his head wouldn't look too small if his wrists and hands and ankles and feet weren't so big. They made him really thick, not overly cut, and just like large, so he looks kind of disproportionate because his hands are like the same size as his head. And you can get away with that in like Street Fighter and things like that, but for a Batman that's a relatively realistic look, it's not really the right design philosophy. But you can make him look pretty cool is all I'm saying, and his proportioning isn't bad, so I will give them that. So let's do a question of the day. Are you guys still going strong on the Batmans, or have you given up? For me, I'm just taking all I can get. I like Batman, so as long as Todd's going to keep releasing interesting Batman figures that don't suck completely, I'll be happy to pick them up before the license is gone. But I'm sure a lot of people have just totally jumped ship at this point. So I'm curious, did you jump ship? Did you jump ship when he lost the license officially, or when the news came out? Or did you jump ship because it's too many Batmans, or too deep cuts, or what's your deal? I'm curious how you guys are handling this situation. So anyway, let's talk about the aesthetics. He's mostly just bare black PVC. There is a little bit of blue paint on here, on the arm, which goes into the fins on both sides, and then we have some stripes on the boots too. Not my favorite look, but that's okay. We do have the dark blue up here with the silver, which is super clean. I like that. The head's paint job is pretty nice. There's black going under the eyes and on the nose, and that gives it kind of a nice look. There is shading on the face. Depending on your lighting, it either looks really good or just questionable, but it's not bad from a distance either way. So that looks pretty nice. The eyes are pretty clean. I swear that's an Arkham, some version of Arkham head sculpt. But yeah, it looks pretty good. The cape is metallic blue, which actually suits this look relatively well, and black on the inside, so that's kind of cool. I like that they did that rather than just doing the blue all the way through. So it looks pretty good for being a really basic, cheaply made figure. It's fine. The sculpt work is good enough. His abs are gigantic. Like, he's really got a strong core. And then none of his other muscles are really super well defined. Like, you have the pecs and the abs, and that's it. So It's a little bit strange looking, but for a McFarlane figure, it's not bad. They've had some pretty crazy proportioning, so this is okay. But really, I just love that silver cowl and bat logo on there. Or silver bat logo with the blue cowl. Gosh, goodness gracious, if I could speak English. Yeah, it's pretty cool looking, but it's nothing, like, it's not an exceptionally good figure. I'm happy to add it to my collection, but yeah, it's more of the same from Todd. So aesthetically speaking, I think this guy is $27, maybe 26, something like that, because he's a gold one at Target. He's a little more expensive. It's like I'll give it an 8. It's fine for a Todd figure. It's okay. It's relatively good looking for that. And at some angles, it looks really good. So if you give him in a little bit of a pose, you'll probably be fine. Now, as far as accessories go, you don't get any fist hands. You just get the 2 relaxed / gripping hands that come on him in the package. You get an Arkham Batarang, which is funny. Then you get the stand, whatever, and the card, which looks like the back of the package. So yeah, I'm going to go 0 out of 10 for accessories. Granted, that's a spite point being taken away, because this is like one of the best Batarang designs, and it looks cool for the figure, but it doesn't match the figure properly, and he doesn't have fist hands. So yeah, I'm going to go 0 out of 10 for that. Now, as far as articulation goes, he can look up, he can look down. It's double ball peg, but relatively limited for it. It'll be fine, but it's not great. Shoulders do move pretty well underneath the cape right there. We have that ball peg. That works nicely. Don't get the arms up too much better than horizontal, but they do work, and of course they're going to fully rotate other than the cape being there. And the cape is wired and it is anchored, so that is nice. It works. That is a good enough cape. I don't like this material because it's still stiff. It's not as nice as something like spandex, which works the best, but it's still a pretty solid cape. I like it. It's going to look cool on a shelf if you put a little bit of effort into it. Bicep swivel is fine, but goodness, look at that. His bicep and tricep, they go so high up on that relatively small shoulder that it's a little bit cumbersome to use. And his shoulder is kind of small compared to how big his arm is, but it's fine. It'll do. Double jointed elbows work nicely. Hideous. It's like, after how many years has Todd had this license? Like 5 years now? After 1,000 different Batman figures, they still haven't figured out how to do elbow joints better than this. So that's pretty unfortunate. And then the wrists, surprisingly, are just swivels. They have a swivel. I mean, they do have a hinge, but there's no ball hinge in there, which is like it's on almost every single figure from Todd. So that's interesting. For the torso, it's a little bit loose, but it leans forward and back, barely forward. It goes back all right. Side to side is pretty good, and then of course you get your rotation. Then down here, doesn't lean back very far or forward or side to side. Does rotate. It's just pretty chunky and doesn't have that much room. The diaper's a little bit thick. You can see down here at his crotch. They definitely could have cut away a little bit more material, and you would be probably wise to do that on your own if you were trying to get better range. Because yeah, his legs, you'd really have to stretch this PVC. It's not going to look good. So yeah, very little range on the legs due to that diaper. Even the splits. Oh no, you're gonna have to cut away some of this too. This is what's wrong with, one of the main things that's wrong with the Todd McFarlane toys. That right there, that does not belong there. That's there from the sculpt. They sculpted this thing as a statue. I almost guarantee it. They sculpted this thing as a statue and then cut it up. But when they cut it up, they didn't remove everything they needed to remove. There's no reason to have that right there, because it doesn't add anything to the figure. It's well underneath the diaper. It just gets in the way of the diaper. So they need to cut that chunk off and trim out the diaper a little bit, and then you'd have an action figure that can actually function. So unfortunate that they haven't figured that kind of stuff out yet. Thigh swivel is basically non-existent. Double jointed knee works pretty well. It's not the ugliest one we've ever seen. You can see the proportioning is much better. You want this chunk right here to be about the same length as this chunk. That's pretty good. There's no boot swivel or anything up here. You just have your standard super heavy ratchets for the ankles, which do function well in terms of range, but they are a pain in the butt to balance on because you have very specific notches where you can have the foot. So it's like, let's see, total number of notches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you have 5 positions to keep the foot. There's no going in between those. So you are limited in that regard, but range is good. Toe hinge, his feet are stumpy, but the toe is actually well done. It's a fairly stiff joint, and it's well placed and well sculpted. So if the feet weren't quite so stumpy, that would be a really nice foot. Okay, so articulation on this guy is less than normal. He is going to be pretty pretty limiting in handling him. I'm going to go 6 out of 10 for his articulation. I think you'll be able to find enough relatively neutral poses that make him look cool, but he's not going to be some kind of super poser or anything like that. So be aware. Before we get into the final rating, let's check his cake. It is not bad. He's got decent mass, not the best shape. I'll give him a 7 out of 10. By the way, for those of you who aren't familiar, we do cake ratings on the McFarlane toys because of the weird butts that they put on a lot of the earlier figures. Some of them had giant cheeks, some of them had giant butts overall, some of them had crazy deep butt cracks. So we do cake rating on the McFarlane figures, but that will not continue once this line dies. People have been asking me, are you going to keep doing cake rating? No, it was only to make fun of Todd McFarlane toys. And so once they are done, I will be done with that. Okay, so time for the final verdict on this release. Is it a good enough figure? Yes, just look at that right there. That's going to be all I need to be happy to add it to my collection. Does it make it a good action figure? No. No, it's good enough. I'm happy to own it. This is personal me. I like it. Reviewer me, it's really not very good. It is just good enough to add to the collection without being upset. So I'm going to give it, because it looks nice, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. But it doesn't pose well and doesn't come with good accessories. And it doesn't look that nice either. It's just good enough to add some variety and some cool Batman. But you can see that silhouette's pretty cool. He's got some decent thickness, some decent chunk. His cape hangs nicely because it's wired. I mean, I'm holding it in place right now, but it is wired, so you can do it. Yeah, it's good enough looking. That's really it. So if you're like me and like Batman, you'll be happy enough. If you're just looking for a good figure, this is not the one. Okay, so that's it for me, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.